All right, we now welcome on a very, very special guest, Daylen Baldwin, new Michigan wide receiver, transfer commit, heading to Ann Arbor here this summer ahead of the 2021 season. The Wolverines obviously secured that commitment a couple weeks ago. Huge ad for Jim Harbaugh and company on the offensive side of the ball. Daylen, little intro for you for the people. If they haven't heard of just the impressive stats that you put up last season, really this spring at Jackson State, 540 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, 27 catches, led the SWAC in receiving. You were the newcomer of the year, first team all conference, all of that in the FCS, and now making the jump to the Big Ten. Congrats on the commitment. Welcome back to college football in the state of Michigan, and thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So let's kind of jump in. I kind of want to ask you a little bit about your journey, and then we'll talk a little bit about Michigan, obviously, as well in just a little bit. But kind of take me through your time, your first couple years in college football at Morgan State. Then you decide to transfer. Jackson State ends up being the destination. You're there. You had to sit out, and then you play a year for Deion Sanders. But I guess take me through the initial part of your college career, making that first stop at Morgan State and then moving on to Jackson State.
The first stop at Morgan was my only offer, my only D1 offer, so I took it. The coach had took a chance on me. I appreciated it, and I just did what I could through there. Throughout that time there, and just progressed a lot. Was definitely developing under Ron Dickerson, my receiver coach that was there. So it was an all right time there, but I soon came to the realization that I should hit the transfer portal.
So then you come into Jackson State. You have to sit out a year, and then heading into your second season there, Deion Sanders becomes the head coach. So a ton of fanfare. Obviously, everyone saw all the videos that were going viral of him down there. But he's a huge celebrity, but he's also just your head coach. What was it like playing for him? What is he like as a head coach, and what was that just experience overall like for you?
It was a great experience. Everything that happened in my life, I've needed it, and it has helped me in some way. It definitely helped me down there. Just growing my confidence a little bit more, like having a little more swag to myself, and understanding that if you don't feel like you're the best, it ain't gonna work out for you. So for me, it was just like I was down there. I was just feeding off their energy and just like understanding how they went about things and just allowed it to rub off on me. But Coach Prime, great coach, great person, great player. Obviously, great dad. Like anything you could think of. Like he's great at what he does. So all respect to Coach Prime. That's my guy still. Like them and the entire coaching staff. And like without the opportunity of them coming down there, my opportunity was big, and I seized my opportunity to play. But I don't think I would have got as much recognition as I did if Coach Prime wasn't there.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was going to ask you next. Did it feel like almost a bigger deal playing there once he came in? I mean, wasn't there? I think I saw there was like they were filming basically like a Hard Knocks type of thing there. I mean, what was that like with all that kind of being on camera and all that stuff?
Yeah, that was cool. We was on camera all the time, so anything that you did was exposed. It showed the good and bad of your game. So for me, I'm looking like I just want to be great. I just want to be on the team in the fall, like just like keep grinding through. So like for me, even though that didn't end up happening, it wasn't the best situation for me. So for me, I'm just looking. I'm like I was just trying to take advantage of the opportunity for real that was in front of me, and yeah, it was definitely different. I'm used to being in front of cameras, not like podcast. Everybody asking, "Well, you're not pregnant? You're not like even right now." Like my people's asking, like, "Well, you're not pregnant? You're not worried?" I'm like, "It's just a camera. We just having a conversation, honestly." So I'm very comfortable with interviews now. That I would say that's like one huge thing.
Yeah, you're used to it by now after that experience. And speaking of kind of what last season was like for you, just a couple months ago. I mean, I was watching some of those games. The FCF games that were going on in the fall, the SWAC. You had a breakout season. I mean, I mentioned the stats at the top of the podcast, but obviously putting up those big numbers, leading the conference in receiving yards and all of that, scoring 7 touchdowns. And keep in mind that 540 yards was in 6 games, folks. So I mean, that extrapolates out to over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns and all that if you play a full season. you know, and possibly even more than that because you could have, you know, gotten more of a groove or, you know, played a
Yes,
little
sir.
bit. Yeah, I know it's you know, played a little lesser competition here and there. Those were all in conference games. So, what was that like for you breaking out, you know, becoming that guy? And you know, now obviously that leads you to you, like you said, the situation. You know, you look for a better spot, and you found yourself now in the Big Ten. So, you know, take me through that last season that really put you more on the radar.
For me, it was like the field. I had basically like 2 years off because I had set out my first year at Morgan. I mean my first year at Jackson. So that really helped a lot. It was just me developing. I went through a lot that time. I mean during that time like mentally. So for me it was like developing myself mentally and physically the entire time. Like it was just a grind for real. Then Corona hit, grinded through the whole time through COVID, through everything with COVID. Then it was just like once I got on the field again, that was the first time in my life I got on the field and I wasn't nervous at all. It was almost weird. Like from my freshman year all the way up to my probably first game in Little League till until my last game at Morgan, my leg would shake at the first play every game. My leg would shake. I don't know what it was. My leg would shake when I got to Jackson this last year and I played. I just the field ain't never felt so much of like home feeling for me. So for me, it was just like the comfortability and like really mentally feeling like I can do whatever on the field, and that just progressed to me just doing what I putting up the stats that I did. It was just a byproduct of the work that I put in like just over the years.
So then you enter the transfer portal. You know, you kind of blew up there that week that really you committed. You know, visited a couple schools. You get the offer from Ohio State. You know, you take a look at them. You come up to Michigan. You work out in front of the Michigan staff. They extend the offer to you. Was that just kind of a whirlwind of a few days there? And you know, did you expect that to happen when you entered the portal? Did you think that you know you would have those types of schools coming after you?
No, I thought I was gonna be in a MAC. I was gonna be at like Kent State, Central Michigan, something like that. I thought I was gonna get around there. I didn't think I was gonna get any Big Ten, SEC, ACC, any of those offers. There were more than like after Ohio State and Michigan talked to me, everybody called me asking me to come work out. A lot of teams called me asking me to come work out. I wasn't working out anymore though. I told them I wasn't working out anymore. Like I don't care. So like it was either I'm like you're gonna offer at this point or you're not. I come down there for a visit, but I'm not working out anymore. That I was just tired of it at that point. I'm like, bro, I got to get to work wherever I'm gonna go. Like, I need to start working out for real. So for me, I didn't know my peoples, everybody, like my dad, some of my close homeboys. I was on my team at Jackson, back home. Like, it was like, bro, you gonna blow up. Watch, I'm telling you, like, it's gonna be crazy when you get in the portal. Like, it's gonna blow up, blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't think so, bro. I just want to make my move and just be on my way and make my mark. Like, I didn't expect a lot of this, but for me, like I expect once those teams ask me to come work out, I expect to get the offer right after. Just based on the fact that understand my ability and I'm confident in my ability. I know like if anybody watches me work out, you gonna offer me right after. Like that was the mindset that I had, and that's what I went into every place with. Only team that didn't offer me was Penn State, and they were looking at other receivers as well, so they were kind of evaluating everybody. So I understand that, but pretty much anybody who like was like, well, you come work out, like we can see go from there. And they offer me Ohio State and Michigan being like that's like a it's like accomplishment just to get an offer, let alone go there. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like showing me that all right, Dalen, you can play with them guys. Like anybody who told you can't play with them guys, they lied to you because you just got offered from the biggest to two of the best schools in the country. So what we really talking about?
It may be a little extra motivation when you guys head up to Penn State in November. But, you know, you mentioned the workout and then you kind of got tired of them after those first couple. But you work out for that Michigan staff. And, you know, then I think it was just, 3 days later that you decided to commit after they, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pulled the trigger and gave you that offer. What was it like, I guess, working out for them? What was, you know, obviously they were evaluating you, but you were also evaluating them because you knew you had some options. You knew there was a chance they were going to offer. And, you know, so you wanted, you know, jive with the coaching staff and start that chemistry. I guess, what was it like for you doing that and starting to build those relationships and obviously doing that pretty quick before you decided to commit?
Absolutely. Coach Gaddis was a big part of that, like understanding like his resume of like what he has done with receivers in his past. Then Also, just the chemistry that we had, he was able to coach me. I was able to give the information right back to him on the field just by doing what he asked me to do. Um, so that relationship right there kind of like sparked off immediately because I knew that he knew what he was talking about when it comes to receiver. So for me, I'm like, I know I can learn here. I know he can teach me. And that's like the downside. Like that's like the back end of it. Like I know he can teach me. I know that. Then I was looking for the opportunity to play quicker, like just right away, being able to like insert myself immediately whatever team I ended up on. Then just the chemistry, like I just like how the feeling was around there once I got on campus. Um, yeah, I just like the love around there. So for me, it was like the feeling. It was more like the feeling, the gut feeling that I had. I brought my mom around like 2 or 3 days later just to make sure she check it out. My mom always knows best, so I always make sure she with the decision. If she not with it, then it's not going down.
Yep, completely understandable. So you know, they were looking at other positions in the portal. They've added a couple other guys at different positions, but they didn't add anyone, or they didn't really offer anyone else this offseason at wide receiver. So I think, me not being at that workout, it speaks to how impressive you were there. What was their pitch to you, I guess, during that process?
Just like doing the workout.
Yeah, like trying to get you to, once they did offer you to try to, bring you on.
Like I had told them, it wasn't too much that I haven't heard already, just based on the fact that that's like the school that I'm going to now. This Coach Harbaugh is my sixth head coach, my third position coach. There's not a pitch I haven't heard yet. There's not a pitch. There's not a idea, a slogan. It's nothing I haven't heard yet. So for me, I told him like, you can, and I told him this, like, I'm like, yeah, you can send, but like at the end of the day, it's like I gotta make it up in my mind that I want to play for you guys. I trust you guys. It's about who I trust, and definitely the relationship that I had with Coach Bellamy in high school definitely helped a little bit. So just knowing him, because he the one that called me and asked me to come work out. So they didn't really pitch too much. Like they're no disrespect to any receiver on the roster, but they just don't have a lot of they have a lot of youth. So it's like a lot of freshmen, a junior, a sophomore, and a senior, I think. So they just have a lot of youth. They don't have a lot of experience on the field. So I feel like I can definitely help in that department, understanding that. So that was one thing that they did say, like, you can really give us some experience and just come in and compete right away. So that was the main thing. They gave me the thing, not the thing, but the slogan and everything about their weight room and things like that, and how they do in their nutrition. All that stuff was very important to me based on the fact that I didn't have that before. So I'm gonna take advantage of the time having it now.
Definitely, yeah. And speaking of their depth chart and what they have at receiver, 2 freshmen coming in. You're the 8th scholarship guy, so pretty low numbers. I was looking at Ohio State, Penn State. They're up at 9 or 10, which may make a little more sense when you look at Penn State and that whole situation with more numbers there. But so I guess in your 6'3", so people they can't tell if they're watching obviously how tall you are, but for everyone out there, he's 6'3". Watching some of your tape, you have that speed, but you also have the ability to go up and get the ball as kind of a taller guy. Michigan doesn't have many tall guys. I think you and Cornelius Johnson are the 2 only guys that have college experience that are over 6 foot. Ronnie Bell at 6 foot, obviously the leading returning receiver. But how would you describe your game, I guess, for people that haven't seen you play?
You get everything. Like you said, you get the hits to the house, you get the deep ball, get the intermediate stuff, route running, whatever you need, I got it. I give everything. I'm just a smart player at the end of the day. So, like to me that's my key asset. I'm just smart. I'm like very smart when it comes to football or whatever I'm doing. So, just having the knowledge, and that knowledge just really helps me a lot. Just doing everything, thinking on the fly, things like that. So for me, I just say they basically get an all-around receiver.
An all-around receiver that can block too. Looking at Pro Football Focus, you graded out as the top run blocker on the entire Jackson State team last season, including offensive linemen, and there were quite a few run blocking snaps. So you were in there, and they trusted you on those plays, and you did super well. How much pride, I guess, do you take in that? Because, it's an area that I think Michigan has struggled in the last couple of years. They've tried to improve. They talk a lot about it. I know Josh Gaddis is big into that. How much pride do you take in, hey, it's not a passing play. I'm not getting the ball, but I'm still going to be getting after it out on the outside blocking.
All right, first thing, I need you to send me that after this. I didn't know that.
I'll send it to you. I got you.
I appreciate it. I didn't know that. But for me, it's just like, man, you don't want to be ashamed of nothing that you put on film. Like, you put it on film. It's not nobody. There's nobody out there playing as you. You see what I'm saying? So like, putting stuff on film. Number one. Number two, like, but if you want somebody, like, it just goes like, treat somebody how you want to be treated. Like, you feel me? Like, you want somebody to block for you, you block for them, and just taking pride in, like, that's my brother. I ain't about to let you hit my brother. Like, no matter what, I don't care. So, just really trying to just like move people out their way, and we had rules, like, if the run was going away from us, like, they can't pass the close hash to us. Like, we had real solid rules that my coach was very strict on. So that helped a lot. But just really like taking pride in it, because at the end of the day, it's a want to. Blocking is a want to me. That's me personally. Like, it's a want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to. But if you do, you're gonna find a way to get it done. So definitely was just like, I know that's a part of my game that other guys won't have, and I'll take pride in it. What people don't know is that I didn't play receiver in my first 7 years of playing football until I got to high school. Until I got to high school, or first 6 years. So until I got to high school, I played O-line the whole time. So I know how to block. I don't know how to do anything. I know how to block. So for me, that's not really something that I like certainly struggle with. It's just something that like I've been doing my whole life. Get it done. You feel me? And just keep it moving.
So you kind of have that offensive lineman mentality a little bit, that grinder type at the wide receiver spot. Yeah.
Every position that you can think in the box, I played in Little League. All outside linebacker, inside linebacker, O-line, tackle, guard, everything but center. Played everything but center all my years for Little League. So I understand the trenches a lot. So
it brings an added perspective, I think a unique one, to Michigan's offense. So we talked a little bit before we started recording here. You're going to be heading up to campus July 9th. And I said, are you just chilling at home? And you said, no, I'm not chilling. I'm working out really hard. I guess, what are you working on the most right now? What do you feel like you're trying to improve at? Is it just staying in shape? Is it, maybe refining some of your skills? What are you working on now? And how excited are you to, come to Ann Arbor just absolutely at your tip-top shape and ready to go?
Well, for me, definitely staying in shape is a huge thing. Staying in shape right now. So the past about week, I've been doing 2 days for like the past week. But before, like, just through this time, I just been just running a lot of routes, not lifting as much, but doing things to help align my body. Like, I have some deficiencies in my body I'm trying to correct now before I get up there, so I don't have any problems once I get up there. So just fixing the small little details, like my foot. One of my feet might be like tighter than the other one. Like, just trying to really emphasize those things. Then just track workouts, getting faster, speed work, and those are things that I don't focus on like up top that I know I need to get better at. And also just like eyes to the catch, eyes to the tuck. That's one rule. Just making sure I catch everything. And on the jug machine, I'm about to go get it. I'm about to get on there after this meeting as well. So, and lastly, I think what else I've been focusing on? Just really just like running at the catch stuff. So just catching, making moves, things like that. Just working on every part of my game, just refine and just fine tuning everything, make sure everything's sharper than it was last year, and just trying to get better, trying to make sure I'm getting better every day. And for me, I'm really excited just to come up there and just start competing and making sure they understand they know who I am.
So. I think they'll know, right away, especially with the way it seems like you attack it, and you got that offensive lineman mentality. You will make your presence known. A couple more questions for you. First, I read one of your interviews that you did, and I found out that you were an Ohio State fan growing up. I guess, for the people who don't know, Dalen is, went to high school in Michigan and all that. How did that happen? How did you become an Ohio State fan growing up?
I've just been an Ohio State fan for as long as I can remember, honestly. So I don't even know how it happened, but I've been an Ohio State fan for as long as I can remember, like literally as long as I can remember. So it wasn't nothing. But like I do remember the times like everybody Michigan, either Michigan State or Michigan. I'm like, nah, I like Ohio State. And they was like, no, that's worse than anything. Like you like Michigan State, like something like that. So yeah, it's not too much.
So no longer obviously an Ohio State fan. And do you think it's important to understand that rivalry, either side of it? I mean, when you look at, a lot of Michigan's better players and coaches actually grew up in Ohio, grew up Ohio State fans. So it's not like a bad thing. This is nothing new for Michigan guys. When you look at guys that came from Ohio, Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard, Bo Schembechler, legendary coach who came from Ohio. So do you think that understanding that rivalry, whether it's on the other side or on the Michigan side, is going to help you once you get out there in late November?
Um, uh, I guess you could say that for me is like it's another game, it's another team. You have the opportunity to beat. You have the opportunity to produce. You have the opportunity to put yourself on film once again. Take it. Take advantage of it. That's how I look at it, and that's how I kind of look at every game. And once I do get around the guys and understand, I'll probably have a bigger feeling about the game. But I never necessarily played in it either, so I really don't understand at the end of the day. So for me, I'm pretty sure once I get around them, my perspective would definitely change. But for me, it's like it's another opportunity to be somebody.
Definitely, and I think once you step into that building, on a day in day out basis, it'll be emphasized just that much more. Last question for you: you have not strapped on the wing helmet in a game. You haven't put on the maize and blue yet. Have you thought about what that's going to be like in running through that tunnel, touching the banner? Even though you grew up an Ohio State fan, you understand what the tradition and the history of doing that is. Have you thought about that? Because September 4th is coming up, and that'll be the first opportunity for you to go through all that pageantry.
That's definitely gonna be crazy. I feel like it's goosebumps, probably the first time. But at the end of the day, you gotta isolate yourself and just feel like it's just you, the ball, your team. That's it. Like it's routes on there, or like it's practice. That's how you got to look at it. That's how you got to go about it. Like it's one-on-ones in practice. Like you practice this all the time. Just finish your one-on-one at the end of the day. So for me, a lot of people ask me, like, I don't really get nervous and stuff like that. So I don't really understand that. But for me, it's just I'll be happy. I'd be the biggest thing. Like probably be emotional, just like based off the fact I like if anybody would have told me I would have been here 2 years ago, I would have looked at them crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like accomplishment more than anything. I'll be happy to be ready to play.
No doubt. Yeah. I appreciate you coming on. I will send you that stat as soon as we're done about the run blocking so you can kind of show some people that. And
Yes.
Appreciate your time. Congrats on the commitment. Can't wait to watch you this fall.
Appreciate it, my guy. Have a nice one.